Hello everyone, I am BowserJrXD. Welcome to the first part of the Abu Dhabi weekend for Formula 2 in 2024, the final race weekend of the year. It's a very tight championship battle with Gabriel Bortoleto holding off Isaac Hadjar by just 0.5 points. And then there's Paul Aaron with the outside chance of getting the championship, 25.5 points behind. Although, that would be a miracle if he could actually win it. Figure with this little a margin, I tried to cover the last two races, and so here I am. Some news before the race starts: Kimi Antonelli, Mercedes' next F1 driver, has gotten ill and will not participate, turning down the field size to 21. And I'm going to go over the starting lineup right now. Starting 21st, driving the number 25 for AIX Racing. 19 years old, from Glasgow, United Kingdom, Cian Shields, 29th in points. Anyone who's below 22nd has only run a few races. Starting 21st, driving the number 23 for Trident, 19 years old, from Maitland, Australia, Christian Mansell, 25th in points. So they both have come from Formula 3. Starting 20th, so that's 21st and 20th, excuse me. So, give me... I should fix this. And then do this. There we go. Starting 19th, driving the number 14 for Van Amersfoort Racing. 21 years old, from Salisbury, United Kingdom, John Bennett, 28th in points. He came from GB3. Starting 18th, driving the number 22 for Trident. 22 years old, from New York City, Max Esterson, 30th in points. He also comes from Formula 3. Starting 17th, driving the number 15 for Van Amersfoort Racing. 23 years old, from Leon, Mexico, Rafael Villagomez, the lowest full-time driver, and 22nd. Starting 16th, driving the number 2 for Art Grand Prix. 22 years old, from Kingsley, United Kingdom, Luke Browning, the Williams development driver, 27th in points. Again, coming up from Formula 3 for the last few races. Starting 15th, driving the number 7 for Dams Lucas Oil. 19 years old, from Charlotte, United States, Aston Martin Jr. Jack Crawford, 5th in points. Starting 14th, driving the number 3 for Prema Racing. 19 years old, from Havering, United Kingdom, Oliver Behrman, the Ferrari Jr. 14th in points. Starting 13th, driving the number 11 for MP Motorsport. 23 years old, from Ben Shop, Netherlands, Richard Verschoor, 9th in points. Starting 12th, driving the number 5 for Rodan Motorsport. 20 years old, from Piacenza, Italy, Formula 3 champion Leonardo Fornaroli, making his Formula 2 debut. Starting 11th, driving the number 12 for MP Motorsport. 20 years old, from London, United Kingdom, but representing Germany, Oliver Goethe, the Red Bull Jr., 23rd in points. So the highest of the people have only made a few starts. Now the top 10, starting 10th. Actually, that is highest in points of those who have not made full starts. Starting 10th, driving the number 1 for Art Grand Prix. 23 years old, from Quincy-sous-Sénart, France, Victor Martens, the Alpine Jr., 8th in points. Starting 9th, driving the number 10 for Invicta Racing. 20 years old, from Sao Paulo, Brazil, Gabriel Bortoleto, the McLaren Jr., leading the points. Starting 8th, driving the number 17 for High Tech Pulsate. 20 years old, from Tallinn, Estonia, Paul Aaron, 3rd in points. Starting 7th, driving the number 20 for Campos Racing. 20 years old, from Paris, France, the Red Bull Jr., Isaac Hadjar, 2nd in points. Starting 6th, driving the number 8 for Dams Lucas Oil. 20 years old, from Linkoping, Sweden, Dino Beganovic, the Ferrari Jr., 24th in points, and the highest starting driver who's only made a few starts. Starting 5th, driving the number 9 for Invicta Racing. 24 years old, from Bangalore, India, Kush Maini, the Alpine Jr., 11th in points. Starting 4th, driving to number 21 for Campos Racing. 19 years old from Barcelona, Spain, Pepe Marti. The Red Bull Junior, 16th in points. And the youngest driver in the field now, since because Antonelli is sick. Starting third, driving the number 6 for Rodan Motorsport. 25 years old from Zushi, Japan, Ritomo Miyata. The Toyota Junior, 19th in points, is the oldest driver in the field. On the outside pole, driving the number 24 for AIX Racing. 21 years old from Asuncion, Paraguay, Joshua Dirksen, 12th in points. And on the pole, well, because of the top 10 being reversed for sprint races, driving the number 16 for High Tech Pulsate with a pole time of 1 minute 36.946 seconds and an average speed of 121.8369 miles per hour. 22 years old from Temse, Belgium, Emery Cordial, 17th in points. This race will be 23 laps long for a total of 75.5 miles or 121 kilometers. Track length, 3.281 miles, 5.281 kilometers. Of course, the Yas Marina circuit is another one of the creations of Herman Tilke. Not a very good track in general.
Into early evening, the track temperature 35, the air temperature 27. In the commentary box, I'm Alex Jakes, and buzzing for this title decider is Mr. Alex Brondon.
23 laps of Formula 2 action for the sprint race. The smaller points handed out, the reverse grid in full swing. Pops Emery Cordial on the front row of the grid. There, though, one of our title challengers. A brilliant qualifying session, skimming in just ahead of a red flag yesterday. Gabriel Bortoletto finds his way to 9th on the sprint race grid. He's directly up against Isaac Hadjar. The Drivers' Championship cannot be won today, but there will be critical points given out to steal a march into tomorrow's feature race. Let's see how they line up, AJ.
This is the grid then for the final sprint of the year, and we have Ken Shields at the back of the field.
All right, hold on a minute. All right, I already went over the starting lineup. I'm going to try and do something real quick.
Then we welcome to the grid the reigning Formula 3 champion, Leonardo Fornaroli. He starts life in F2 in 12th. Then it's Oliver Goethe. Then we have Victor Martins, P10. He's next to Gabriel Bortoletto. The points leader by half a point going in to the final round. Kushmani has a penalty. He's down in 8th. And Paul Aaron starts from 7th. Is there an opportunity for Isaac Hadjar to take the championship lead? He starts from 6th today. Dino Beganovic seems very comfortable with a Formula 2 car. Pepe Marti is in 4th, chasing his first podium since the middle of the year. Miata is in 3rd, and then it's Joshua Dirksen, and looking for his first win in the category. Our pole sitter reversed from 10th on the grid. Emery Cordial leads the field away in the silver high-tech.
It will be 23 laps. It will be the harder of the two compounds of tyre available. The super soft compound will not be appropriate for this race. We might see them chuck it on right at the end if there is a safety car, but it's a build-up then, and building up temperature in what is a relatively warm track temperature to make sure they get down the 170 meters down towards turn
if people wondering who JMA and BMA are,
extremely challenging sequence.
VMA is Victor Martins, and JMA is Pepe Marti. His real name is Joseph, but Pepe is his nickname, so JMA it is. And because both names start with MAR, they couldn't use MAR.
Sun low in the sky. This race used to be held when we had the floodlights on after Formula 1 qualifying. In recent times, the sprint right in the middle between FP3 and Formula 1 qualifying. And we have a big opportunity now to see
Formula E qualifying will start during the race.
Let's hear from our top three on the grid, starting with Mia.
That'll be fun.
I want to make a preparation for the Sunday's race, the future race. And also I want to enjoy driving with Roddy Motorsports and my team. So that is the most important thing.
For sure, my target is to win and get my second win in the season. And that would be a really great way to finish the season, to be honest. And yeah, just really exciting and really looking forward for the race.
I just need a good start, and then we'll see from there. I think the pace is good. iTech gives me a good car. So yeah, if the start is good, we have a good chance.
Amaury Cordial, the Belgian driver who finds himself at the front of the field looking for a breakthrough win today. He is 22 years of age. He's about to start Alex's 77th Formula 2 race. He's never stood on the top step. That's his aim today. He's looking for his first podium as well in the category. But the main talking point, the drivers' standings and how tight it is. Three can still win the drivers' crown.
Paul Aaron very much still in the hunt mathematically, sitting in third place in the championship, been picked up on his way out
they're
to
running
the
a race
grid
at Abu
for
Dhabi
stopping in the fast lane. We'll see if anything comes of that. But we've effectively got a straight fight here through the full Formula 2 race process between Hadjar and Bortoleto. Whoever scores the most points will be the champion come Sunday. Battle, of course, in the team's championship as well, which can mathematically be won today by Invicta Racing, but a lot of dominoes need to be lined up and knocked down for that to occur. Very likely to go on to tomorrow between they and Campos.
That's nicely summarised. We're going to be across all the spreadsheets in the next hour or so on the broadcast. A maximum 45 minutes for this sprint race. But will we see Invicta claiming the title in Formula 2? Those unmissable yellow liveried cars. Cordial is in place. So is Dirksen. Miata and Marti complete the second row. Boganovic and then the first of the title contenders. Isaac Hadjar in the middle of the pack. Remember, every point so important. Half a point between Bortoleto and Hadjar, 25.5 points back. Paul Aaron hoping that Formula 2 goes full Formula 2 and gives him a dramatic chance to realistically get in with a battle for the title. The final car is in position 21 on the grid. We look to the green flag at the back. Here come the lights for the last sprint of the year.
And lights out. We're green at Abu Dhabi.
Racing in Yas Marina.
Marty to the inside, trying out from fourth to first. And he gets there. What a start for Pepe Marti as we got cars going on with one of the high techs. Cordial, so it was Aaron. Cordial trying to fight back on Pepe Marti. Can't get there. Dirksen trying to take second back. He's going to get there.
Dream getaway for Marti, who goes from fourth on the grid to the lead. But I think second place there is a big opportunity, and Dirksen gets up to P2.
I think there was contact, Alex. Contact for Hadjar in the middle of the pack. Looked to get sandwiched as they went down towards turn one.
Hadjar second in points. We already have a yellow flag in sector one. 3 wide for third. There's Mighty going to third, going to second. Overcuts the corner. Oh, he got a spin. It's one of the Alpine cars. Martins. 3 cars sent off. Was one of those Hadjar? Or no, it looks like that was Griffin. Green flag. I'm going to wait until the first lap is clear for me to adjust the starting line, to adjust the current standings. Bortoleto's up to 7th. And what the hell?
So finds himself ahead of his rival for the title.
Wow, sends it down the outside,
In
sitting
contact
in P9.
with
Can he
his-
turn
with
it into
Goethe?
P8? Hadjar has to get out of it on his way through turn 13, but they're still side by side, the two Red Bull liveried machines in 14.
Hadjar and Goethe.
Goethe has to back out of it. Goethe does back out of it. Absolutely frenetic on the opening lap. Those with championship challengers knowing that they have to try and attack, and you can see.
All right, now we're on lap 2, and I can
Wing,
adjust as
missing
soon as the
end
starting
plate that
lineup
Alex
comes
described
up.
for you a few moments ago. It's Marty from Miney, Cordeal in third, Dirksen goes to fourth, Bortoleto ahead of both of his championship challengers. Aaron is in sixth, Behrman in seventh, and the last of the point scorers as it stands is Bogdanovic in eighth position.
Right, I forgot that was
As
Cordeal's,
Hadjar
the
fades to
HDL was
11th place. We're on
Cordeal's,
board with the man who's currently
abbreviation.
extending his points lead in the title battle.
Points down to 8th in this one. It's 10, then 8,
Right,
then 6,
I forgot
then integers,
about that.
down to
In
back
the-
end of
in the
top
sprint
eight. At the
race,
moment,
it's only
Bortoleto
top
sitting
8 that get
nicely within
points.
those points. And can he make an attack then on Dirksen ahead? He's nicely in the toe.
His rival has damage to the left, to the right, to the inside for Bortoleto. Feeling punchy out there, but having to race knowing the title is on the line. He's in a great position. He realistically doesn't need to upgrade it at all. You have Hadjar out of the points. Hadjar,
So
who
Victor
has
Martin's now on
climbed
pit road
up to
with
10th
damage.
place. No end plate, no problem. He's on the front foot right now. And he's up against Miata, who faded from the top 3. He's down to 9th
Hadjar
out of the
passes
points.
Miata.
Into turn 9, up to 9th place for Isaac Hadjar, trying to undo the damage. Look at the positions gained. Marty managed to get up 3. Miney managed to get up 6.
Pepe
And
Marti,
crucially for
who's in the
title
lead,
battle,
has never won a
Bortoleto
Formula
up to
2
fourth.
race. 17 other people, other drivers have won a race this season.
Unbelievable
And the
there
23,
from
6
Miney to make
races
his
we've
way
had.
through. Bortoleto, a lovely start as well. Hadjar down 3 places, picking up damage, but doesn't appear to be affecting the way that car turns in. You can see on the onboard there a little bit of flex. Victor Martins has pitted after the contact with Miata, and that is now under investigation as we continue into lap 3.
Lap 3, we'll take a breather in the commentary box because that was, I really think, Alex, that was championship contenders forced into a position they didn't want to be in, and drivers fully aware they
Now,
could take
Hadjar was
advantage
fastest,
of the
was
caution
fastest
on the
in
opening lap.
practice.
It's always this way in Formula 2. This sprint race, very much a curveball. Doesn't matter if you're able to qualify at the front, because we're going to put you at the back end of the top 10 and see how you handle that. And it's such an important moment for those championship challenges to overcome. This again, Bortoleto trying to overcome.
Bortoleto trying to get to the Dirksen. He pulls to the
He's gonna try
inside.
the same trick.
He's going to get P4.
Outcome. Another position gained as Bortoleto this time climbs to 4th. He's up 5 places from where he started this one. He's not the only championship challenger on the attack.
Hadjar
Bortoleto
closing
to
on to
4th.
Dino Bogdanovic,
Ninth
the last
place
driver
Isaac
in the
Hadjar,
points.
trying to get past Bogdanovic, who's starting only his 2nd sprint race today.
Couple of races so far for Bogdanovic, but 2 sets of points, 3 sets of points for him. And
Trouble the
to
inside
of Behrman, who has to
Of
close
Prem
the line on his way
of
into
Behrman can't get it down, and here comes
Hadjar
Hadjar to the inside, but Bogdanovic closed the door. A
A
10-second penalty for Tomo Miata for causing a collision.
For the road in that started P3.
Bogdanovic, so impressive so far in his very early days of racing with Lucas Oil Dams in the Formula 2 Championship. Ferrari-supported driver being stalked by the driver looking to make his way through to the lead of the championship if he possibly can. But Bogdanovic has been a cool customer, not only fast, but also very capable of racing these powerful machines, and has taken off in his early stages of his Formula 2 career.
After a frantic first lap, things have settled into a rhythm. But my word, that was intense stuff when you're seeing drivers go from 8th to 2nd. By the time that he got to turn 6, great driving from Kushmini. He's 2.6 seconds away. Pepe Marti trying to become our 18th different winner of the year today. It's been that type of Formula 2 campaign. And we're on lap 4 of 23. You're looking at Cordeal trying to take a maiden podium in the championship. Closest he's got so far this year was in Jeddah, but behind him, the championship leader.
Here comes
This
Bortoleto
time,
to the
he's trying to go
outside
the other way
of
round,
Emery
trying to turn the
Cordial.
outside to the inside.
Can't
He
make the
shuffles
pass in
rival
turn
off the
1.
racing
I believe that's
line,
turn
as they apply the power through 8.
One of the most experienced drivers in this series, sitting the teams in the championship, but we have seen him out in the lead of races before.
Here it goes, Bortoletto again. Now he passes and goes to P3.
Finishing positions.
To the end of the podium positions.
Thoroughly going to plan for him. Let's see whether Hadjar can do the same. Every lap that you run behind a car is hurting your tyres. There is dirty air in Formula 2. It's not as extreme as Formula 1, but it does still exist. It will be having an effect. Hadjar trying to shuffle the rookie Vaganovic off the racing line. He remains in 9th. And Gabriel Bortoletto, his rival for the title, extending that advantage. He's P3 right now.
Let's have a look at the start again. Cordeal got our way reasonably well. Dirksen was slightly slow, wasn't he? And that's what
one of the cars had a pretty terrible start.
Pepe Marti up the inside. Look at Miney come screaming down
the inside. Miata had a bad start.
Off the road there, and that's what gave Bortoletto the opportunity to go through. Martin's still battling with Miney. He's the Alpine liveried blue machine to the left-hand side of the yellow machine and shoveled off the line there. He'd later be turned around by Miata. Here's how it looked from Isaac Hadjar's perspective, and it was a relatively strong getaway, but it's later in the lap as they plunge down the hill, actually.
Got pitched between Bortoletto and Miata. Or Miney.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so he finds himself in the traffic again as they're going down the hill, but it's that early squeeze where he loses the front wing. Third place man in the championship is Paul Aaron, who got a lovely launch as well. And then we're going to get a look at it over on the left-hand side. The Red Bull liveried machine is the championship second place man. It was the lightest of touches, but enough to dislodge the front wing.
Well, Miney is absolutely committed to the inside there. And are we going to see
Bortoletto trying to find a way on his teammate, the one that did not really team order it well last time.
Gabriel Bortoletto sitting pretty in first position as it stands, 0.3 of a second away from Miney. You would think teammates, titles on the line in both team and driver categories. There'll be no chance of fireworks between these two, but I've got a video to play you from Barcelona which proves the exact opposite. They will be fighting for everything here. Pepe Marti is the car 3 seconds up the road with the race lead.
There was, though, a discussion between these two in Qatar, wasn't there, where Miney did choose on that occasion to help the team out. He's not obligated to do so. The team don't have any sway in the drivers here. They're very much here for their own shot, their own opportunity at Formula 1. But Miney may choose to play the team game and allow Bortoletto through. At this stage, though, Bortoletto is taking a slice of points out of his championship rival. So that'll be the question that Miney will be asking over the radio.
And Bortoletto looking for the move to the inside of turn 5. Doesn't have that chance. If they fight for too long, might afford an opportunity to Cordeal. They're all on this medium tyre at the moment. There's no requirement to pit in a Formula 2 sprint race, although we have seen some classic moments through the years.
Bortoletto to the inside, takes the lead.
Second place for Gabriel Bortoletto. Everything going to plan for the Brazilian driver, who is cruising up the field here, and he's taken second position. More points for his championship challenge.
Yeah, didn't leave him much to discuss there, did he? Bortoletto, DRS pass, and Cordeal looks to be next down the queue if he's got the pace to pass Miney. Back on board with Hadjar, still trying to make his way past some trickier customers, it must be said. Beganovic and Behrman on his way to Formula 1 next year. Hadjar looking to be, if
Hadjar still behind Beganovic.
Dominoes to fall, but first he's got to focus on the rear of that Downs, which is moving around all over the place out of turn 9. And this is the stage in free practice, lap 6 and 7 onwards, where the rear tyre started to move away from the cars.
If it finished like this, and it doesn't often finish like lap 6 in a 23-lap Formula 2 race, but if it did, it would be an 8.5 point advantage that Gabriel Bortoletto took in to the final race of the year. Hadjar started ahead on the grid. Kushmani, really brave, diving to the inside of turn 1. Damage to Hadjar's car, you can see it there on the right-hand side of your picture, the left-hand side of his front wing. And you can see there's still debris on the circuit. That is the story of the race so far. A crucial moment in the championship. Pepe Marti went from 4th on the grid to the race lead, and Invicta find themselves with a good points haul at the moment as they try to take the team's title. But there is a Campos, their nearest rivals for the title, claiming 10 points as it stands, and it wouldn't be enough as it remains the same. It's not going to remain the same now in the battle for 5th place. We're on board with the Estonian driver Paul Aaron. Very nearly contact
Aaron running at the inside of
Hot
Miney.
ahead of Cordeal as Aaron sweeps around the outside. That will become the
Oh, sorry,
inside line.
so that's
That will
Cordeal's
become
again.
5th place.
Aaron trying to get by Dirksen
But it's very
for
tight for the
5th.
2 ahead, Alex.
Cordeal then going down the outside of turn 9. He's
Ooh,
going to
that
have
was
to go
too
the
wide,
long way
too
round. Dirksen can't
twice.
maintain that position, having been off the
Cordeal
road.
passes
with the
Miney
on-speed,
for
Cordeal
3rd.
with the place as they make their way to the apex of the long left-hander.
And they has all changed again. Once more, we see Cordeal getting into 3rd. Miney drops to 4th, and Aaron did make the pass cleanly and get up to 5th position. There are 4 seconds between Bortoletto and Pepe Marti.
Slippery surface flags out now for that debris, which is down in sector 2 on the exit, track sector 2, on the exit of turn 1. And I do wonder if they're going to have to send somebody over the wall to pick that up. That could easily bring about a virtual safety car, which could change the course of the race. Be interested to see this time through if that front wing end plate is still there on the left-hand side and how close it is to the racing line.
Okay, play it smart because we can get all the group in front. They are driving really dirty now.
You still gotta get around Bogdanovich. That was Hadjar's radio. Aaron trying to get around Miney.
Because Paul Aaron wants another position, heavily attacking Kush Miney and managing to heat the pressure on. I don't think this is going to be a contest for too long. He's trying to claim 4th position. He's into that DRS zone. DRS proving very
He
powerful
gets it.
today.
Aaron the
And
4th.
another position gain for Paul Aaron, who's rising up the order.
Yeah, easily up the inside. Oliver Behrman wants
he
one as
doesn't
well,
beat
doesn't he? Up the
Bortoletto,
inside in the Prima, it's close on the
he
apex.
cannot win the
Behrman
championship.
can't quite make it through this time, but we'll get DRS again down towards turn 9. And you're absolutely correct, AJ. Super powerful. But the problem he's got is Dirksen's got it as well. Hadjar trying to make the moves, and what I make of it is they're trying to keep it calm in the cockpit.
Hadjar on the outside, can't get by Bogdanovich
Hadjar
again.
can get to the outside of 9, but he can't make the pass. It's very tight on the exit here. Still, we've yet to see. So Dirksen got ahead of Miney, and now Behrman is racing the yellow Invicta in the battle for 6th place. But they're glued together here, and that was the message to Hadjar. Try and keep your head if you can, because you should, on the evidence of earlier in the weekend, have the pace to improve into the points and minimise the deficit. At the moment, it
15
looks
laps
good
to go.
for Gabriel Bortoletto, taking a hefty points lead by this year's standards into the final race of the campaign. 15 to go.
And maybe a reaction to this. Dirksen and Cordeal have been noted for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. Perhaps the radio message to Hadjar saying, hey, there could be penalties up ahead if these drivers keep on racing as aggressively as they are. Drivers like Oliver Behrman in his Prima trying to get past Miney, who looks to be struggling slightly at this stage, moving backwards through the points, having a look down towards turn 5, but it'll be all about the exit and the stack of DRS energy he has then to apply to the rear of the Invicta and try and move forward.
We're on board with the driver who will be racing for Haas in Formula 1 next year. Part of the Ferrari Academy for a
Behrman trying to get around Miney, who's consistently falling back through the pack. Makes the pass.
DRS super helpful for him now. And Bogdanovich trying to follow around the outside to get to the apex first. And he gets through. Now can Hadjar do the same thing? Campos versus Invicta. Miney up against Hadjar. And can Hadjar finally make the improvement to
Hadjar
the
finally
points?
making
He's
a
looking
pass,
for
gets
this
into
for
the
so long.
points.
And he's got the outside line. Can he claim the position? It's going to be tight between the two of them, who made contact at the first turn of the first lap. And finally, Hadjar finds himself into the top 8. He's got 1 point on the board.
Hadjar there with very little to lose. No points in the barrier is the same as no points in 9th for Hadjar today, and that's why he needed just to close down
gap
to the
goes
apex,
to 7.5
try to
points
make
as
it
they
down
run.
towards the middle end of the top 8 if he possibly can. These are the live standings as they stand, and of course Bortoletto taking a slice then off into the distance in that championship lead.
It would be a handy advantage heading into the final race, but Hadjar will not be content with having claimed 1 place. He will believe he can get past Bogdanovich. And now we're going to head it into turn number 1. Lap 10 of 23. Bortoleto getting the gap down from 4 seconds to 3.2. And this is sending it back a lap. And we're looking at the battle that decided the lower reaches of the points, Alex.
Smart racing there from Bogdanovic. Knows he can take that second apex, rolls it round the outside. Miney does well not to just lock up the inside front and go straight, but he just doesn't have the grip, does he, Miney? And that puts him wide as well through the exit of 7 and under pressure as he continues to be now from Miata.
Yeah, Miney, who had an electric opening lap, now finds himself up against Miata.
Yeah, Miney's continuing to fall back.
Trying to get past the pair of them. The driver who was in FP1 for Williams earlier in the weekend, Goethe, managing to get past Miney to the inside, but sure will try and do the same thing. And so standing on the power and getting by is Goethe. He's up to 11th, Browning's up to 10th, and Browning's trying to take 9th place away from Ritomo Miata. That is the blue car up against the black Rodin, and is that the inside line for the British driver?
And what, like, man, Miney is, I don't know what the heck happened to Miney's car, but he is.
He is trying to get past.
I guess he gave up the ghost after that monster lap.
And he does get past. He's up to P12.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where Invicta may well box Miney. He's clearly not got the grip he needs, or some kind of issue in the car as he descends through the order. Both MPs making their way by. Red Bull liveried in the shape of Goethe, and then the standard orange livery in the shape of For Sure. Miney really struggling. Next up will be Crawford, but there are decent gaps now out front, so it's going to be relative stalemate. Bortoleto slightly catching Pepe Marti. Cordeal falling slightly back towards Aaron are the only movements there.
Okay, Bortoleto with another good lap to find himself closing in. Aaron trying to close down on Amory Cordeal. Wonderful sight and sound of the cars flinging their way.
Mecha Chrome engine with 620 horsepower.
Lining up the exit on 5 because they know the DRS is effective. There is another
Crawford
lunge.
passes
Crawford
Miney.
past, so he's not waiting for the DRS zone. And something not right for Miney, who started the race really effectively, got up to 2nd position at one point, but has now dropped out of the points. Contact on the opening corner could have something to do with that.
Eric
Still
Goethe trying to get by Browning.
The driver he was racing
Oh,
in Formula
it's the
One,
curves.
close. He had to take the tough action over the curve. The driver who was racing in Formula 3 early in the year, Browning is ahead, and Goethe had to take avoiding action.
Driver who's driven all 3 of the top 3 tiers this year. Formula 1 in FP1, Formula 2 and Formula 3, gets rid of a tear-off as he tries to get rid of the challenge. If he possibly can, he's going to have a bit of a tougher go of that, though. Browning, Goethe looking like he wants to make the move through. He's jumping back on board with Oliver Behrman, and you can see how much the pace has slowed. At this stage, they are starting to struggle with the tyre a little bit. Shimmy through the exit of turn 14 for Behrman, rolling the car through the middle of 15, and then they have to really slow it up for that tantalising apex of 16, where you have to wait on the throttle, not climb too hard over the outside curb. Behrman with a decent haul of points out of this one.
So now Hadjar will just be trying to minimise the damage. He knows that he's not had the race that he was looking for, but how low can he get that gap? How much can he decrease it by the end of the race? We're on board with Hadjar. He's clearly fighting around this circuit. That was really working the wheel at that part of the track. We're heading to the hairpin at turn number 5 now. Bortoleto comfortably in 2nd place, just looking for that points haul. Black and white flag issued to Oliver Behrman. If he goes over track limits again, he's going to be getting a penalty.
And that will be critical in the championship battle as well.
That could give
because
position to Hadjar, depending on how
penalty.
far ahead Behrman is.
Move him up one position into the points. It's really Bogdanovic, the Ferrari Academy driver, that's holding up Hadjar the most. Starting to struggle with the tyre, though. We jumped on board with Hadjar a little while back, and we could see how much that rear
stalking his prey like a leopard.
Moving, and now the challenge coming.
Can he get to the inside?
Bogdanovic has been defending pretty well, though. Hadjar pulls to the outside. For the turn. Bogdanovic holds it after Hadjar is wide. Crossover from Hadjar.
There was a moment for Bogdanovic.
They're side by side.
There's a brave move if Hadjar can pull it off.
No, Bogdanovic holds on to 7th.
But can Bogdanovic make the corner?
Hadjar's a crossover again. What the damn Lucas Oil number 8, proving unpassable for the moment.
But still, Alex, he cannot shift Bogdanovic from ahead of him on the road.
He cannot just stuff the front suspension into the gap, because if he loses out, he loses everything.
He's defending for his life.
Yeah, if he wants to hold on to
That's
points.
the problem Hadjar's
He's got to
got.
prove
If he can't
himself.
make
He
his
doesn't
way
have a
through,
ride
not
yet for
only
next year.
does he lose out this position to Beganovic, but look at the gap now. 3.7
You should be able to
seconds up
pass
the road
him.
to Behrman. Beganovic defending for his life indeed, and it's costing Hadjar the opportunity to battle for this position and the ones ahead.
And last time around, Bortoleto was 0.3 quicker than the Campos teammate of Pepe Marti. Hadjar's Campos teammate of Pepe Marti, and things are not where the Red Bull Junior driver would want them to be. Can he get to that inside line? Beganovic checking the right-hand mirror because he knows he's got one of the title contenders sitting there at the moment. It is every driver for themselves, and you can see really confident under braking. Can he find his way to the inside of 9? That would secure the pass.
You know, we talk technical, we talk about driving style, but so often these feeder series championships are won and lost on racecraft, and that's what we're seeing here. Hadjar has to get this move done now, and he's not close enough again as they make their way down to 9. Beganovic without the grip, but just clinging to the position here.
As he's entitled to do, looking to make a name for himself, the driver who competed in Formula 3 earlier in the year, and then when the season was concluded in that championship, was upgraded to the Dams team.
10 laps to go here at Yas
Drivers to the
Marina.
title in the past, including when it was called GP2. Julian Palmer working with that team to make his way through into Formula 1. Gabriel Bortoleto, again, another quicker lap than our race leader. The gap is now 2.7 seconds.
Lovely gap out front for Pepe Marti. And Campos will be hoping that he stays out there to try and take the maximum points away from Bortoleto. Cordeal has stabilised along with Aaron, so a good day for High Tech towards the front of the field as well. Dirksen hanging in there, and some of the bigger gaps that we've seen at the front of a Formula 2 field. No DRS for any runner until you get back to Behrman, who's been slowly catching Dirksen for a couple of laps now and maybe looking to make that move. Then there is a chasm back to Beganovic and Hadjar, who've been battling away.
I've got a time deleted for Oliver Behrman after he was shown the black and white flag. So Oliver Behrman could be in trouble, having gone beyond his allotted amount of journeys over the white lines, all 4 wheels over the line of the racetrack.
Hey, Steven. Rocket ship, in the straight.
Talking about Dirksen.
We can do it.
Well, they've got to get on to Behrman and let him know that he's going to lose time if he doesn't keep it within track limits. That last one was in turn 16. That's the final corner of the racetrack. He's taken a black and white flag, as you mentioned, Alex, earlier on in the race. So the standard for that would be a 5-second penalty. We'll see how that one plays out for Behrman. If indeed the team are able to argue it, or race control decide that one of the previous track limits are not valid. But that's what we've seen throughout the season so far. Worth saying, he's very much not the only one. There are track limits deletions coming in every 30 seconds or so. So drivers really struggling to keep it inside the white lines.
The Pirelli rubber is expiring, and drivers are desperately trying to keep it within the limits of the racetrack. A good lap last time around for Pepe Marti. He's trying to take his Campos to the win and to take the team's championship to the final round of the season, as will the drivers' championship go if the result finishes like this. Goethe looking to try and apply some pressure as well. The black and white flag now shown to Esterson in the Trident as we continue to work.
Yeah, that's a lot of
see how much the
track
tires are
limit
degraded.
violations we've had.
Marbles to the left and right of that straight racing line down to turn number 6.
Yeah, doesn't magic itself there. The detritus you see off the racing line, that's all come off the racing rubber of this field of cars, and they lose a lot. Lose a significant amount of gauge. With gauge comes temperature, and with temperature loss comes loss in performance. That's why the tyre falls away from them. They're designed to degrade at a specific rate to challenge the drivers, to give them the pace in the early stages of the race, and then challenge them to keep hold of that tyre. That's what the rookies are going to have to try to do. Rookies like the two we can see at the moment. Goethe in a creditable early phase.
I wouldn't call them rookies. I would say once it's their first full season there, I call them the rookies.
We've seen a little bit in the wars.
There are 7 of them this season. Antonelli, or attempting the full season. Antonelli, who's 6th, is 9th. not running, but yeah, then you got Fischer, Gomez,
And it's important now to get this
Miata,
move done,
Marti,
because staying within 5
Dirksen,
seconds
Aaron,
of
and
Behrman
Bortoleto.
seems important at this phase of the race for Hadjar and Beganovic.
Well, you would expect a penalty. He's had times deleted after he's been shown the black and white flag. Not getting that information from race control at the moment, but we have had times deleted after Behrman had the black and white warning flag that he was on a last strike. Beganovic, you can see 4.1 seconds away. Can Hadjar find a way to frighten him off the racing line? It's been a large part of this race now, Alex.
I think Behrman will,
When you've had
will not
many,
probably
many
be
laps
still
staring
ahead
at
of
the back
Hadjar,
the
even with
driver's
his penalty,
gearbox.
even if he gets the
What
5
is in
second
your
time
armory
penalty.
at this stage, especially when it's a vital move?
He's not got the traction, Hadjar. That's the problem. He's not got the traction off turn 5, and he's not got it off turn 7 either, which puts him behind in a way that he cannot overcome the DRS difference. They've got a bit too much downforce as well on the car, maybe, so doesn't have something he's not doing at the moment, Beganovic, which is get a bit wide as the tyres degrade and make an error. But as you correctly say, every lap you spend behind, not only are you giving the driver in front every idea of where you're faster, where you're slower, where you're likely to pass, but you're also ruining your own tyres in that dirty air in corners like turn 9, 13 and 14 as you try and stay within touching distance, but the car ploughs on.
Okay, out front, Bortoleto and Marti, they are matching time, slightly quicker last time around for Bortoleto, but I think he's accepted that 8 points for his championship challenge is a great result.
Aaron
You consider
catches
he
right,
had
is
to
going to be
make
right
his way
behind
through
his
from
teammate
a
Emery
reverse
Cordial for the
position
podium.
at 9th.
We have
His title
7
rider
laps
was
to go
6th.
now.
Might have worried that he was going to lose the points lead heading into the final race of the season. Instead of that, dramatic stuff into turn number 1, and we had the Campos shuffled backwards. This is the 4th place man, Paul Aaron. And
Cordial
big lockup
went
ahead
off.
of him
That's why he
as
closed.
his teammate
That's why
rejoins.
Aaron was
Cordial
able to close
still
up.
on for his first
A lock
ever
tire
podium
lockup
in the championship.
Yeah. I thought the rock after party was about to start. That much smoke down at turn 13. Dry ice stuff from Cordial.
It's condensed everyone together. So an active battle for the podium places then. We've got Cordial, then Aaron, then Dirksen. And Hadjar remains 0.6 of a second away from Beganovic. Can he try a late lunge, try and upgrade his points-paying positions? Can't risk a grid drop, though, for tomorrow. But he does look like he's going to lose plenty of points here. It would be 7.5 points going in to the championship.
Paul Aaron takes 3rd away.
Resolved in favour of Paul Aaron, who's got up to 3rd with a fine move.
Drove underneath him like they were on a roundabout, didn't he? Aaron found a huge amount of grip down on the racing line, and you wonder if Cordial's damaged that tyre, because Dirksen now having a look with what appears to be a significant amount more grip. It was a big lockup on a heavily loaded tyre there for Cordial. Never good news at this phase of the race.
It really isn't, and he loses that chance of a milestone moment in his motor racing career. It means that Aaron is back in there, and the man 3rd in the point standings going into today finds himself now with 3rd on the road. You can see what a job Pepe Marti has done out front to take his opportunity and to stretch his legs. Started the season with a double podium finish. It's not been the easiest rookie campaign for the Spanish driver, but it looks like he's going to have a landmark moment in a few laps' time. Dirksen trying desperately to get the power down nice and early, and let's see how good that straight line speed is for the AIX car, as spoken about by Ollie Behrman on the radio. It looks like he's going to be shaping for a move inside line for the high-tech. Can Dirksen breeze around the outside?
Wow, Dirksen around!
Between the two of them,
and Cordial as well.
That's a big moment.
All right, Cordial's fine. It's just Dirksen that got spun. Hadjar.
But that's massive for Hadjar, who's up
We got a
to 7th
position there.
at least, and still the scrapping continues.
Miata
And,
moves into the
wisely
points
giving
position, but he's
Behrman
got a
the place.
10-second
Behrman
time
finds
penalty.
himself in 4th. Contact between Cordial and the man who was charging through, trying to take the place, Joshua Dirksen.
And that's really clumsy from Cordial. Locks off both fronts. He locked them up before, so the tyre was vulnerable, but trying to hold on to the place. Let's have a look at it. Dirksen to the outside, brakes a little later. Has, of course, the rubber
Lock up from
line.
Cordial causes the
there
spin out
just
for
tries to
Dirksen.
stay in it and take towards that inside curve, but misjudges the braking.
Cordeel, come on.
Yeah, we are very unlucky.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a penalty for that in Cordeel's corner, which in turn would give another position back to Hadjar. So, yeah, really, really unlucky for Dirksen.
Well, tomorrow, as you saw a message there, we told you about it ages ago, but there's an incident involving Oliver Bearman under investigation for going beyond track limits. He went beyond track limits 8 minutes ago, so they'll be reviewing the moments off the racing line. Into the pits comes Dirksen. After that moment where he was spun round, that looks to be the end of his day. He was hoping for a podium today.
Dirksen
not to be. Is there now a
drops to
second win
21st.
for Gabriel Bortoleto? On lap 19 and 23, he's found more pace again. The gap for the lead is 2.1 seconds.
And one of the reasons I think he might be pushing forward here, as we see a look to the inside, Browning on Miata, not to be, is now
fifth.
you're seeing Hadjar with a potential move up the road. You've got Cordeel with a potential penalty for turning around Dirksen. You've got Bearman with a potential penalty for...
the only penalty I know is the 10-second one from Miata.
Penalty. You're getting the live gap to Hadjar. Would be great to see that again, because that massively affects things. Thank you to the gallery. 4.9 seconds, 5 seconds. That is the difference between another point for Hadjar, and crucially, up to 7th. The difference now between the two drivers at the front of the championship is 6.5 points. And there are 7 points.
5 seconds time penalty for Oliver Bearman for track limits.
Bogdanovic is now worth 3, isn't it, for Hadjar? If he can clear Bogdanovic and get up the road, he will also stay potentially within 5 seconds.
But Bearman's ahead of Hadjar.
If that penalty comes through.
Okay, this is a big moment. All in, because they've caught Cordeel as well, whose tyres are done. Might not be the only one. Gabriel Bortoleto pushing on hard right now, trying to close
smoke
down
coming out
that
of
gap,
his
but a
tires.
lockup at turn 12 makes catching the race leader even harder.
Cordeel and Dirksen under investigation from the stewards. Bortoleto thought he had a big point swing.
John Bennett a penalty. He's back in 15th. 5 seconds for track limits.
For him, so everybody getting picked up here for their 5-second penalties.
It's changing things late in the game. There's the move to the inside for Bogdanovic, who improves to the top 5. He's really suited with his Dams team. And once again, Alex, he finds himself in the top 5 of a Formula 2 race. And he's only taken part in 3 of them.
He's starting to drive away from Hadjar now. Cordeel will have the DRS back and be able to attack down towards turn 9, but I don't think he's going to have the tyres to make it round anywhere. I don't think he had the tyres to make it up the inside, let alone round the outside of Bogdanovic. He just has so much more pace.
4 laps to go.
Hadjar will be next along and will be happy to be finally snatching positions and moving forward in this race, having been so unfortunate at the beginning.
Well, Cordeel is under investigation for causing a collision, and he's got a 10-second penalty, Anne-Marie Cordeel, for causing a collision with the driver that you were looking at, and that is Dirksen. So the penalties are coming in here, and thick and fast. You've actually got Hadjar behind Cordeel on the road.
Cordeel with a 10-second penalty for causing a collision.
He can't keep Bearman in 5 seconds as it stands, but Cordeel will drop out of the points with that 10-second penalty.
He needs to find a couple of seconds, Hadjar, if he's going to make his way past Bearman with the penalty corrected. So at the moment, even net of that penalty, Bearman stays ahead of Hadjar, so he will be sixth on the road when he makes his way past Cordeel. He'll be sixth anyway, because Cordeel, of course, picks up that penalty. So that's where Hadjar stands. The point swing not as big as it could have been, but still
Hadjar will get ahead of Cordeel.
Losing to Gabriel Bortoleto.
3 laps to go.
He's pushed on to a degree up front, but only taken 3/10 out of Marty that time round.
He's got the pace, but he's running out of laps. That lockup was absolutely crucial. He might have been able to get DRS on the last lap as things stand. You can see the difference between Bearman and Hadjar, and Bearman's got the better tyres at this stage. This is Richard Verschoor up against his teammate Oliver Goethe. This is Richard Verschoor improving, and he's up to 10th place. No points for anything outside of the top 8 here. Remember, Miata has a penalty from earlier on as well. So this order will change dramatically. Hadjar's about to get close to taking Cordeal on the road. He's already got him on the timing page as Goethe gets back ahead, at least momentarily, but he knows he's racing his teammate, and he's given him ample room. It's going to be close between these two when they make their way to the exit of the corner, and Goethe manages to cling on to the place.
One of the newest drivers in the series in his 7th race versus one of the most experienced, and he'll be continuing on with that team through next year. Richard for sure has to cede to Oliver Goethe. Hadjar then trying to make the move on Cordeal, and still trying to make the pass despite the fact Cordeal has been struggling with the tyre. He's rallied slightly, but you can see how ponderous it looks through the apex of turn 16. Hadjar will be trying to make this move stick.
He will be. Those tyres just took too much punishment, stuck behind the dams of Beganovic, and he's just working the wheel at every single corner. Hadjar will be devastated with how things have turned out in this final sprint of the year. Ultimately, the first turn telling
2
the
laps
story.
to go.
Pepe Marti is looking to
4
get to the
drivers
last
have
turn
penalties.
in the lead, and he's got 2.2 seconds over Bortoleto, who had a good run of laps and then had that lock-up at turn 12. Behrman on the road is 0.7 of a second away from Paul Aaron, who has no need to fight too hard over this. And he's got that 5 seconds in the bank after Behrman got a penalty for it. A defensive moment for Cordeal, who has that penalty, the lock-up, and that will be
the
position
inside
for
goes
Hadjar.
Hadjar. He takes 6th place.
On the road, on the timing page, and now he's got it on the road.
So
Hadjar
3 points
up
for
to
6th, 8
So
points for
2
2nd.
title
It'll be a
contenders,
5.5 point
second
gap.
and 6th, as we're on the penultimate lap and heading to the final tour of the racetrack. 5.2 kilometers this lap as Miata gets through. Another penalised driver in this race.
Yeah, really no chance for Hadjar now to collect the points for Behrman, more than 7 seconds behind him. So he will end up 6th if things stay as they are.
White flag is out. Final lap at Yas Marina.
To make, as has Aaron. Does he just stay here and try to lose the minimum time, or does he reckon that actually making the move on Aaron will help him get further ahead and try to mitigate that penalty? Let's see. Might be better just taking the DRS and going with the Estonian driver in the final tour of the race.
There'll be plenty of drivers who are going to be very optimistic about their chances for tomorrow, because Behrman's had good pace and clear air. You can see that he's able to stay with the high tech of Paul Aaron, who will be the Alpine reserve driver next year in Formula 1. Isaac Hadjar seeing that points lead increase in the championship, doesn't appear to have any tyres left. So many laps tucked under the rear wing have decided that, and he is pressing on. Miata, you can see, getting closer.
It's a move that needed to happen, and
Beganovic
will end up 4 seconds to the good on Hadjar, having made that move on Cordeal, and they were nose to tail with Hadjar pressuring him at the beginning of this race. So this is where he could have been. Beganovic at the moment sitting within the 5 seconds.
Number 21 car with the Red Bull livery for Campos Racing. His teammate Isaac Hadjar, been the winningest driver all year. But the young Spaniard looking to make his mark to get his maiden victory in the series.
4th in comparison to Bortoleto.
Nowhere near the championship fight, but he can definitely get a jewel out of this weekend.
These are the final corners.
Here he comes out of the final turn. Pepe Marti is a Formula 2 winner.
Pepe Marti takes the checkered flag first. He wins.
Bortoleto second.
Campos. His first win in the category, and we've had 18 different winners this year. Ultra competitive. Bortoleto comes home in 2nd place.
Aaron takes 3rd. And then my screen breaks. Come on, I need to see the rest of the standings. Behrman probably drops behind Beganovic.
The top 4 in his 3rd Formula 2
Beganovic 4th, Behrman 5th, Hadjar 6th, Browning 7th, for sure 8th. Because these are the penalties. Crawford 9th, Goethe 10th, Fornaroli 11th, Miata 12th, Vija Gomez 13th, Cordial 14th, Bennett 15th, Esterson 15th, Bennett 16th, Mansell 17th, Miney 18th,
Really great day.
Shields 19th, Martin 20th, Dirksen 21st.
Oh my God. Thank you guys. Thank you for. Let's go.
A driver who has had more than his fair share of misfortune this year. Technical issues, wiped out at the start of races. He's had so many weekends where we've exclaimed Marty's been unfortunate again, and it's fabulous to see him take that win right at the end of the year. He's been on the podium this year, not been on the top step, thoroughly deserved for a driver who's had pace beyond his finishing positions throughout the whole season so far.
Absolutely right. That's the driver's standings at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, good car, mate. Very happy. Very good car.
Well, Bortoletto, I think he'll be more animated than that tomorrow, but that's a huge moment, isn't it, Alex? He's got the advantage up from the half point.
Bortoletto will have a 5.5 point lead heading into the final race. Aaron will not be able to win the championship.
But you know what? Hadjar started ahead of Bortoletto today. You just can't take anything for granted.
Now that will end that stream. At noon is the Formula E race at Sao Paulo. That will be my next target. Thanks to anyone who showed up today. See you in about 4 hours. BowserJrXD signing off. Have a good one.